Smiling world, a soaring world, a sensuous world, world of reciprocity, peace and unity, love, respect, value, wisdom, joy. I just hear this one song. People, let your light shine. Come on, let it shine. Let it shine on all night and day. Hey, hey. I just think it's so amazing that the universe set itself up that there's all this movement, 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 and everything is totally done except for walking out this door with in prayer, in peace, in joy, in connection with family, with it's amazing. So what profundity, fecundity has been moving in your lives? Let's, let's open to receive.
Thank you for all of this. It's like we have stepped our collective feet into the new, the next, the future, which is the now. And I'm so full of gratitude and love, even as there's confusion and unknowing, seemingly not knowing, uh, and questions and fears of the unknown that bubble up in the waters of our being. And yet I am calm at the center of my heart of recognizing that we are already we are creators of the now, which appears to be in the future, but it is now. And your invocation, Daniel, this morning was such a reminder and a creation of that knowing in my being that the waters of my heart and gratitude are welling up to the point where it's hard to speak, but uh, we are just, the tsunami is cresting and just about to manifest itself throughout our humanity. And we are learned surfers of this wave. And We are here to assure ourselves and one another that we are one. Gaia is purging herself, her body, her oceans, her land, her skin, her essence of all the imbalances she has endured. And we are here to be uh, in assistance, to participate consciously in that healing through every word, through every attention, through every knowing that we're unified. My breath is your breath. We breathe together and we create in balance with our Mother Earth. And it is why we're here, why we've chosen to come to be here in this transfiguration. So I am so grateful and at the same time overwhelmed with knowing the expanse of what we why we are here and what we're doing together. And I think I'll complete my sharing at that point.
You know, as you said, I'm complete at this point. Elizabeth was there. Elizabeth was on the top of your face. Her energy, her voice, and all the mentors with Barbara.
Yes.
Amazing that
Yes.
where we have arrived. And
Yes.
that future that you named is, you kept saying is now, but the future, it seems it is not when, the future is where we
Yeah.
are locating and from where we are seeing. And from there, here we are, is our creation. But everybody was here. Is
Ah,
here. That moment, the whole thing was here. Such a connection beyond our understanding.
yes. Yes.
This is promising. This being together is just a lot. That's what the path has been about.
Yeah.
Because of each one of you. We just, it's like we are the reward of this efforts or whatever we have gone through. The effort is, it's been a roller coaster of love affair. Oh, blessings, blessings.
Welcome, Michelle, to this roller coaster of love. I came in like, whoop.
That was what
You must have got on that seat and
exactly what I was thinking. I must have just come in on that roller coaster, I guess. The only thing I heard. Oh, time got away from me. I was outside pulling weeds. Um, yeah, I'm glad to be here, I guess, y'all. I don't know if we presence ourselves. Y'all know I'm here at some Sweetwater Creek. Um, this was once the land of the Calusa people. I guess I've been getting that wrong for a long time. Tocobaga were close by, but in Tampa, they used to call it Tampa and it means fire sticks. So, um, anyway, I think I relearned a bit of information. I feel like I knew that at one time and I must have forgot it or something. But anyway, I'm glad to be here. It seems like it's been a while. I missed y'all.
Well, just enjoy the spiral of love that's happening, and I will share the opening that Daniel opened with, but as an email for people who have not been here. So, or yeah, who are not here right now. And yeah,
I just want to apologize for being late too. I couldn't find the Zoom meeting when it's been a while. It's not on your Zoom. I had to look around for it.
where
Sorry.
you came
Well,
in
you were pulling weeds, which was most important.
perfect timing. I think you just came in perfect. The roller coaster of love
Yeah.
that scoops us up. Like we think, like I don't know, having this vision of this, getting on the roller coaster. The roller coaster stops for the next person to get on, and then you're just swooped up and you're taken to have that full vision. And we've been just sharing that full vision is um, auspicious and full of love, and there is a undercurrent of potential, possibility, and um, promise, as Khurshid was sharing. So yeah.
And some are scared, some never want to get on. Some they come with the fear, they take the ride, but and they deal with that, and some are thrilled for the aliveness that in that up and down brings to us. You you named it. We have become, we can become a good server. We got our mastery in serving this. And in the midst of all that is happening, it's like we've been prepared for this. It's like, wow, this anchoring, this, whatever. I don't know what it is. In the midst of instability, it just being so held
Yeah.
by the invisible forces.
Khurshid, when you saw Elizabeth, when I went to the first conference of evolutionary, um, uh, I can't remember what it was called.
Agent for conscious evolution.
Yes,
Mm.
I had a hotel room unexpectedly with Elizabeth. She was my first roommate, and that's where we met.
Where
And
was that? Do you remember?
that was in,
Hold on. So can I just like this is really important. This isn't a conversation between you two. This is like an open,
no,
urgent field. So I just want to really like open it up so that the whole is really engaged here and to really, yeah.
I was trying to make a point that was for the whole of us.
I know, but okay. All
I'm
right.
just saying that the beginning of us started there, and and our connection with water, our connection with each other, being in this process toward evolutionary consciousness and expansion and leading us to this now moment has been solid from that time. And that's all the point I was trying to make, is that these connections are galactic. They're far beyond this realm of reality. And we are on that path together. And that is the energy that has drawn us together. So I'm complete with my sharing. Thank you.
I want to complete that sentence with, I don't know why this came. It's like we eventually opened our evolutionary eyes. I realized that is that which is anchoring us in the midst of the chaos. Mm.
I listened to something this morning, and I've been getting up really early. Um, they were talking about this being a precipice decade. And so when you were talking about having its roots, I just felt like I can see this big precipice, but a really strong rock is somewhere grounded really deeply, that kind of put us on this precipice, and they were saying like this year is like an ignition year. We feel this momentum, this propulsion, like I do. So I could really resonate with it. But when you were talking about kind of where you got started, I was thinking, and we're in this precipice, and we can feel it. Like I think, that we're like up here somewhere. Things are moving quickly. Okay, well, if I can keep talking. um, I always, the themes, the way they intertwine is just so interesting. In our morning fire, it's agenda and intention. Like, what is the difference? And it just kind of like hit me yesterday that, and the gene key is dishonesty is the shadow, intimacy is the gift. So I just feel like the intimacy of our intentions, takes us into this transparency. That's the vision key, and it's our agendas that make us dishonest. I was just confronted with my own dishonesty gently. I mean, nobody was actually confronting me. I just saw it on my own. And then when I was pulling weeds, I saw another agenda that had gotten me like, oh, anyway, it's probably too much to go into. But I was going to have a roommate, and I was so excited about it because I had just mentioned it a few months ago. Like, who knows what'll happen? Maybe you'll move in with me. And then, sure enough, she calls, and she's like, months later, she's like, "You still looking for a roommate?" And I'm like, "Oh, heck yeah!" And I just was so excited. But then I started like thinking like a landlady or something. And I realized just while I was pulling weeds that's kind of what happened. Anyway, she's changed her mind, and I'm okay with it because I'm kind of on that roller coaster, you know. It's like, okay, if not this, something better. But I realized that, you know, when you said galactic, you know, that this is these choices that we're making, they're bigger than us, you know, and the intentions are bigger than us. And, or I guess I should just speak for myself. Um, and I'm not real sure how to say this, but anyway, when she said she wasn't coming, she was going to move in a month early a month before he has to be out. He was going to clear out a room for her. And when it wasn't going to happen, I did not want to tell him because I have my own agenda, you know, about just getting him out of here. And I'm like, and here's the motivation and the leverage. And I didn't want to mess it up. And it was just like, oh my gosh, I'm I'm not being honest with myself, you know. I have this agenda that tells me I need boundaries and he doesn't need to know this or that or and it wasn't being honest. Not only was I not being honest with him, I wasn't even being honest with myself. So when I realized that, it wasn't any problem at all telling him. And it's like now I feel like maybe now we can actually start working together for this last month because I think my having an agenda made him have an agenda. I don't know. And then I realized I got an agenda about the renters and you know like anyway. And now I'm kind of back to let's just see what happens, you know? Let's just see what happens if we have the right intentions and lose the agendas, you know? Like just go for compassion and closure, and I can maybe make it on my own. And I'm back to where I used to think maybe somebody can just come and stay. And I went over my budget. I spent all my money on food. So maybe they can just stay for the cost of food. And maybe they'll want to see something they want to help fix up or get or who knows? But I so much prefer just being in the uncertainty and just trusting. And but it's how easily we can deceive ourselves. I can deceive myself, and yeah, it's just constant kind of work, isn't it? Like to to try to be that hollow, that hollow bone. Why shoving stuff in there? You know? I'm sorry. I don't know. I'll be quiet.
Thank you, Michelle, for that share. It was actually exactly what I needed to hear. There are moments when I need to check my own agenda or even ask, what is my agenda in this moment? Why is this coming up? Why am I feeling like things have to go this way? Or for the same thing, it's like, oh, it's to my advantage. I'm not going to share that information. I'll just let them keep believing what's not true is still true, even though I know that's not the case because it suits me. And I'm not lying. I'm just not sharing information that I have because it suits my agenda. So thank you. I really needed to hear that. Now I have a question to ask myself.
It's so perfect for my journey as well. In leaving this house, you know, how much do I tell my landlord? How much do I need to tell her? What's being honest? What's not being honest? And sometimes I like to play the dumb blonde. And, and so, you know, before I step out this door and like it's probably in, you know, 45 minutes or so, you know, to ask myself how crystalline clean I am in regards to moving forward and in love and in light and have I lived my best life? Have I acknowledged all aspects? And for me, the other piece is gratitude, like for the things that we think we don't like or are uncomfortable. To allow the reciprocity of life to weave its wonder inside of that, to allow well, in some ways, complete the journey in the highest way, in the biggest light, and with understanding that we are all where we are, and that includes my landlord, that includes, how much presence can be had, and I think it weaves together what Khorshid was saying was about the fear, how that driving force of fear makes us respond or has us respond in ways that, we're not malicious beings, we're doing our best with what we have. And I've been really seeing that, like, I mean, oddly enough, just talking to someone last night who I haven't talked to in probably a month or two, and and opening to see the beauty of his journey, of his choosing whatever it is, fundamental Christian, being a Christian, just whatever it is, whatever to really supplement our lives with joy, and to see each person moving into their joy, in your case, your husband or, whatever, just to be able to know that we are all moving. If we stay in that frequency of love and that frequency of, because this is what has been coming to me this morning about standing tall in your truth. What is your truth? The truth is that crystalline part of us that honors all beings, and how do I go about doing that? Because I think if we come from that place, then we don't even have to worry about, am I being honest or not? I mean, we have to always do that check, but there's something about standing in my truth doesn't mean obliterating everyone, or, and meeting my own level of, tolerance in some ways. What is that for me? Just and I think the rising consciousness is compassion. Compassion for each of our journeys and where we're being taken, and on that roller coaster of love, I haven't really thought about things as a roller coaster, in many years, because I'm the one who doesn't like roller coasters. But the surfing, I can definitely go with, like surfing those waves. So I'm grateful to be here. Apologies for any ripples that I created. And every moment is a new opportunity to return to love. So I put the rose petal in the center. The rose, not the petal, the rose.
Also, what I understand, our transfiguration process is opening up to frequency, vibrational communication where we know without speaking, and with compassion and love already what is being felt and transmitted and communicated with one another without words, without linear thought or ego based judgment, just simply knowing. And some of us are empathic and already, we're already there, but this is what is, I think, becoming more of a common communication um, mode as a humanity, where we won't have to be guessing or thinking someone is thinking whatever or feeling whatever. We just know and then respond to that knowing with empathy, and because we are one, and then we care and communicate from that place. So this is exciting, you know, and some of us already, most of us are already living that, but this will become more of a common way for us to communicate and commune with one another. So that's exciting.
There is something here. In the old paradigm, in that agenda, personal agenda that we've been conditioned to live, we think still there is a leader in the group. And there is a communication. This sense of belonging is blossoming, only happens in the mutuality of the communion, in being one body, not somebody leading the group. And that's purity of the heart. It's transparency. It's our nakedness in the unfoldment of that which is pouring to have home here. Mm. That, you call it tsunami of the new frequencies. Well, yeah. The new human. The divine human. Recognize and see all from that place. Being home in oneself. In oneself. Mm. A dream. A dream we are living together. Mm.
my cue. Wearing my butterfly earrings. This morning I felt the change, continuing to evolve and transform, transmute. So I use transform mutation as a word. I don't have an agenda. Let me say this. My agenda isn't, pretty much for the most part, not set by me. In my earth walk, my personal earth walk, I have learned how to surrender to a power greater than myself. And my agenda, if it is an agenda, on a daily basis and a moment to moment, it is filled with service, being of service to everything and everyone that I am able to, without spreading myself so thin that I'm not effective in my service. And so I surrender to that, all the no's, doing a little bit of work I do, but is of service. And even when I'm not in this little bit of work, I'm doing service work, helping others or doing things. And we all do these things. And it's been my the fortitude of how I have surrendered to my own evolution to know that it is from the heart mind that gives me the freedom to be able to do the things that I can do. We call ourselves human, and yet it's hard to believe with what's going on out there on Mother Earth that we can say that we are human. Because the things that we're doing to each other cannot be considered human, to be humane. And yet, I have evolved to a place where I can be divinely human. Limitless, infinite. In my journey this morning with you, it's beautiful to be able to see yourself not being human, being part of a cloud, being a raindrop, being a prayer, not having to be in this form. In the old world, we used to call it shape-shifting. It still happens. It still happens. As we speak about, in order for change to occur, change must occur. If we continue to see ourselves just as human beings that are not even being human, how are we able to evolve to that which is beyond and really be consciously a part of the all, the everything, the all things, the all wheres? In the location I come from, I do my best to come from a place called the field, the quantum realm, where I can be nobody, nothing, nowhere, no time. And I know that sounds, you know, but it's the only way I can express in this very limiting language what lies within me. So I'm continuing to love my own evolution. As I'm smudging a small group of women yesterday, I have a chance to see past the wall of their confinement and share, because in the middle of the path, about 50 yards away, there's a roadrunner in the road. And to see this creation and to know the beauty that it holds in our own linear minds of what that represents. Endurance, adaptability. The roadrunner's footprint is an X. And many tribes feel that that X is a symbol of protection against evil. To have a roadrunner in your path, it's a pretty good thing. Because as it's sharing its own spirituality, as creation shares its own spirituality, it's like we're beginning to remember our own spirituality, our own evolution of being one with all things, like creation lives moment to moment in life. And that's a powerful, powerful mindset to surrender to that. And I love the rose petal because it's the profundity that you spoke of earlier. I'll share this last part. Was that this last weekend, Alda and I were in Los Angeles and for family things. We had a chance to be present at a christening baptism and 1 year birthday of a great niece. Beautiful. My nephew, his baby's mother here, had this baby. They're not together, but when I knew that he had brought forth this child into the world, I spoke to her and let her know that as far as Alda and I are concerned, she's family. And so we were invited and we went in this beautiful, humble neighborhood, this small church, humble. Priest was actually a cousin who flew out from North Carolina to perform the baptism. Talk about family. And to be, with all this Mexican American or Mexican community in the gathering of celebration in a small place, wasn't even a hall, it was a backyard. So humble, but yet so celebratory. It was a good feeling. I hadn't had that feeling since I was probably a kid with my own family at times, things like that, and not being the center of that occasion. And then the next day, my birth sisters from my mother's side, this is the part I was getting to here, is the birth sisters from my mother's side, one of them had reached out and said, hey, you let us know you were in town, so we've set something up for breakfast tomorrow. Come down to the yacht club in Long Beach. She happens to be the Commodore there now. And it was just a really beautiful, casual setting. And in a beautiful day of visiting with my sisters and parts of their families, she showed us her boat. She says, why don't you come down and see my boat? She has a 50-foot twin engine inboard. Come down and see my boat. I'm wrapping it up. But at the same time, her and she says, so when we talk about the boat in our texts or stuff, you'll know what I'm talking about, right? So we spend a little time in the boat there, but as we walked to the boat, I recognized the name of another boat called the Moby Dick. And it's funny, right? But you don't forget that one because Moby Dick, Moby Dick. But I remember it because I believe my cousin from my adopted family side owns that boat. And they were like maybe 50 feet from each other. And so the point is actually, at least for myself, was my sister's intention was to show us something that we would know what the family's talking about when they talk about going out on the boat stuff. But the higher purpose was an opportunity to bring these sides of the family together that have never met. I spoke to my cousin. He said, "Yeah, that's my boat." He says, and then I started to describe him the name of the other boat, which is called Family Ties, and Tides, and he said, "Oh, I spoke to that woman yesterday. I was down there at the boat, and we spoke." So I have cousins who are talking to each other that don't even know they're cousins.
For years.
For life, for life. So just our humble presence there and their humble, beautiful sharing of just come and see. So you know you're a part of this too. Just happened to put together family that's been around that now we can say we're all family. What a beautiful thing. And my sister, when I called her and said, "That was my cousin you talked to yesterday." And she was just blown away. So as the universe, not out there, but as the universe where we're at, unfolds its own agenda for things. Those are the things I surrender to. Just allowing with no resistance, or with little resistance if I can, just to let it happen. Just let go and let it happen. And just know that I'm a part of, and part I am. I bring the best and highest of myself. And always saying, keep me humble. Oh,
Well, thank you for that. I love this. Sort of speaking of letting it happen, I'm staring at these words that this first piece I wrote in 2017, but when the theme came up this week about intentions, I remembered it. And then the second little piece I wrote just yesterday, but I really don't like saying I wrote it. I think I feel more like, maybe I said this yesterday, Shelley, I don't know, but I don't like saying a songwriter because I feel like they just come to me, and a lot of times I'm just writing them down. And when you were saying, Dinah, about, spending more time in just knowing, not a word, not in words, not cognitively understanding and figuring things out, but just sort of resting and knowing. I think that's why now the words are starting to flow. And I feel like I should knock wood when I say that because I know, but sometimes they just come. But anyway, it's probably going to sound a little elementary, but next to what's just been said. But I also want to say before I read you this is I've been reading Fool's Crow for the last 2 days, rereading it, and the book's probably 30 years old, but I don't remember a word of it. It's just like I'm reading it for the first time. And you sound so much like, it's Wisdom and Power is the book that I'm reading now. And well, you probably already know it, but he's talking about that whole, if your life is for service, then anyway, I know I won't even touch it. I just felt like you were just, it just reminded me so much of him. It's that, like, wouldn't it be a wonderful world if we were all in service to us all, and we could get out of the way with our agendas. So anyway, I want to read you these if that's okay. Um, the first one is called Artfully Arranged. It's actually a condensed version of what was originally a longer piece. All of our highest intentions are saved, planted to enliven the landscape, simmered to enhance the flavor, paved into a cobblestone path, each an essential texture of our journey. All of our highest intentions are saved, released, resound. As past and future awaken, our intentions return to us, artfully arranged. Then yesterday, which is a new experience for me, being able to write while people are speaking. I usually can't even write if there's music on, if it has lyrics. So this is a new experience. Agendas are another thing altogether. A lifeless word, a tad absurd to think that we can plan, that we somehow understand the flow of time in blocks and rhyme of what is yours, what is mine, painted on our billboards, printed on our signs. We act as if life will adhere to our thinking as we formulate plans to stop our own blinking. Agendas don't ask, they mostly assume multiple tasks, which we then presume should adhere to a certain order. But what do we know about order? How much do we understand with our structured agendas, our definitive plans? We assume that life will bend to our will. Through detours, obstacles, we trudge forward still. Our eyes on the prize, we cut life down to size, count the steps to get there, to the when and the where. Might we pause to consider universal design, intrinsic intentions that naturally align? Our agendas may be forced to take a back seat when we realize the driver is life's own heartbeat. If we can loosen our grip on those best laid plans, let our dreams resonate with the heart's promised land. Then whatever obstacles we have to work through, we'll shift our perspective, alter our view, until sooner or later our dreams intertwine. The universe is arranging your intentions with mine. Life's own agenda might appear to us lopsided, yet it's carefully, patiently, artfully guided.
Hmm. Hmm.
Oh,
Really beautiful.
that's amazing.
Man,
Yes,
that was
thank you.
fabulous.
That was really,
Send it to us, please.
yes, please.
We will, that is, I feel like, Michelle, what's happening is that your whimsy is coming out in a really clear, coherent, it's, I mean, it is, I get the piece about, not wanting, I'm an author, right?
Right.
Who are you? I'm an author. Well, who is authoring who? But at the
Yes.
same time, that's the God-given channel that like you can feel it. That was just like so whimsical, and I think I've never like seen that full part of you, like that whimsical essence of poetic, you know, I don't know. It's just like amazing. And I really want to hail that energy that just came through. It's just like, wow, you know,
Yeah,
it made, and
That's
it made sense from the beginning to the end, like it was just so perfect for, the conversation today. And wow, I'm just, please, please, if you don't mind, and put your name on it because it's your light, right? People let your light shine. It's your voice and your heart and your light and your gift just flowing as one. Actually, this is so interesting. Flowing as one current of love. Really, I was asked to. I was gatekeeped this morning for something called the Dance of All People. and that comes up here and happens different places, but it comes up here pretty soon at the end of September, September 27th here in New Hampshire, or Maine, actually. And you go through a process of gatekeeping and, really the bottom lining of what is the energy that's moving for you personally in regards to life. And what came through was this full flow, this current, current of love, being that bright light. And I just feel like you just captured the energy of that. Don't be afraid to shine your light. That's what I want to say. Just keep on going. That's amazing. Your songs are always amazing, but something about that was just like it was like sparkles, like and it's so what a powerful piece of, if we could all come in deeper with getting to see the subtleties of our agendas, like, Alda was speaking to too, like where's the subtleties of how they just creep in, So thank you, because for me moving forward, I just feel like I get to drive, whatever, an hour to where I'm going and go into the mountains with, that piece of what's been spoken here so beautifully, like um, the deepest surrender of my will and thy will as one will, that God flowing, that creative energy. Um, so anyway, I'll stop. Thank you. It's amazing.
I do want to also say thank you, Michelle, and yeah, please do send it to us. Like for me, every word was absolutely necessary and in its perfect place, and the sparks and the connections that I was making was really amazing. And I don't see any ego in calling yourself a writer at all, because it's like you might not want to say you created it, but you wrote it down for us. You brought it together and put it in writing, whether it's a song or a poem or whatever, so that we can receive it. So I appreciate that. And it's, yeah, I don't see any ego in calling yourself a writer, because that's what you're doing. So thank you.
Well, I was thinking about like verse carrier or something. I don't know. Because I feel like with songs, it's the same thing. The melodies come.
But you wrote it down
I
for
feel
us.
like a song, maybe I'm a song carrier, you know? I don't know. Yes, I know. I need to, yeah. Because I don't, what somebody said to me, I don't like a false humility to get in my way, anyway, it's, I gotta be careful about that agenda too. Uh, yeah, I'll just put it in the chat. Will that be okay? Can you just download it from there?
Yep, if you put it in.
Oh, no, it's too many words.
Oh, right. So just respond.
What about
Gosh,
the email that you send out? Can you put it into that?
okay, I could do that, sure.
Or that's okay?
And I'll send it out. Yeah.
Well, anyway, y'all, thank you for this encouragement because I don't know, it's just important to me.
Would you mind if I put it in the email blast that goes out on? I started
Oh,
writing.
I feel the same way about my songs. I'm like, I don't want to. I want them to be used for whatever, you know. I always feel like songs just want to be heard, want to be sung, you know. So, yeah, and I don't. Yeah, it's the intellectual property rights that people are like, don't use this. I don't get that at all. Just, I don't care if people know who wrote it. It's not a false pride. I just would rather the words mean something to them. And if they, you know what I mean? The same way with the songs, if they have the power to shift people or, you know, experience something, then that's the songs that I want to be remembered, you know. I'm struggling with that ego thing, but this is new, me writing as much as I am and recently. I I don't know if I read you the grateful piece, but that was another thing. It just flowed right out. And yeah, I'm so grateful when it happens.
Too.
So thank you.
Let the ego thing go and just be.
Huh?
Just let the ego thing go, because there's not the way, just the way you shared. There's no ego there. It's just you're fine.
Well, I've been thinking that I don't mean to like take up our time with this, but lately I've been writing a lot of unfinished songs. The melody's there, but I'm just only getting so many words. So what I was thinking yesterday, Shelley, and Lacey Joan was saying, I come at it from a different perspective. I was thinking about, remember Carlos Castaneda, and he would say, like, we look at the leaves, we'll gaze up at a tree and the leaves, but what about when you look at the space between the leaves? And this other person that was saying that about they couldn't see the constellations, and she knew they were there, but she couldn't find them until somebody said, it's look between the stars, right? So I was thinking, like, I feel like the lyrics are out there. Y'all have them, like they're in the field. And I don't know, but somehow I'd like to make that kind of offering that like here's the empty spaces, here's the melody with the empty spaces, and how could words flow from the field, from whoever, I'm not sure. So it feels like some direction to me. I'm just gonna keep following it, I guess. I feel like it's just not a thing. It's not a singular thing. It's a collective thing. These words are coming to me from, y'all, and from these active conversations and intentions, and so I want it to feel more reciprocal and. I don't even know how to express what I'm trying to say. But I'm gonna find that other poem while y'all on past the feather. You see my pretty heron feather?
Ooh.
It's the gene key. The heron is in the dream arc. It's the representative for transparency. All birds are the vision keys. I love this one.
It is a moment of celebration. I've never seen you as alive, vital, brilliance radiating as this moment. It's like the whole thing has been in between. It's been in that liminal space since you opened your mouth. Thank you for being here with us.
And as you speak of the birds, I see their dance in the sky all together, the whole flock, or however many birds can join in the energies of unity, of dance and flow and life. And that is us, our soul selves, emerging into this realm so that we are one. It's not just words, it's actual energetic presence. And I am so celebratory that this is manifesting and we see it and we appreciate it and we love it in each of us, each one of us, and all of us. Thank you so much.
Earlier in this call, we talked about roller coasters. And I've always carried with me a friend saying her clients, she noticed it was like a roller coaster. The 20-year-olds that were going up for the first time and they'd never been doing that before. And it was the highest it'd ever been. And the celebration and the joy and the wonder of that. And they get to the top and something happens and they're heading down for the first time. And it feels like everything's falling apart and how traumatic that is. But as you go around a couple of times, you reach your 30s and your 40s, you've been there before. You came up again. You went down and you came up again, and it's all going to be okay. And there are different peaks and different valleys, but you got it. And so in this call, I was thinking about the emotional aspects of that, all the emotions that come with that, and you learn your way. But we're going through it. We're not doing it alone. And everybody's on a roller coaster, and there are different points of connection. And I think of it as two-dimensionally, and then that becomes a wave with different people and different connections and how it's all connected. And then you start stacking that, and it becomes dimensional. And that in itself is a field, and we just have all these different connection points as we're in different places on our own roller coasters and different emotional spaces and different understandings and realizations of where we are and what our intentions are. And just that rush of being on a roller coaster, the air and how it influences everything around it. And it's really made that one, for me, made that one image multidimensional from this call. And I'm complete, person. Thank you.
Wow.
So I think we are complete and magnificent, beautiful. Shall we just go on the bounty that we're each carrying? From the silence from which we came in.
We are all leaders here. Aho.
Thank you. Love you.
Ride the wave.